this agreement, we really plan to save 4 gigawatt hours of energy, 1,300 tons of CO2 per year, and more than 450 euros per year. And all this was done with 11 and something million of investments. So through the phase, we saw that there will be cohesion fund available. So we combined, we made another investment concept, and then we saw that we can have 5 million from ESCO, 3.6 million from cohesion fund, and 2.3 million our own fund from municipality. Here are some pictures. So not only energy efficient, but also our buildings now looks much better, much nicer. People are very happy users, and also, of course, politicians, mayors. Yeah, here how they are. Yeah, so and when at the end of this is not stop of the project, because usually we have a 15 years agreement, and every year and also during the year we have to monitor that it was implemented like we planned, that we always ask users, how do you feel now when you are in this new agreement? And at least on the yearly basis, we have to make the checking if all the requirements in the agreement about the savings are set. So like I said, we really had a lot of savings. For the municipality, they had more money for other projects, but we also, as an agency, as a municipality, as a society, we gain a lot of new knowledge and our own experience that now we can share with a new project. And what to say for the end, please don't be afraid. It looks a little bit difficult, but when you go step by step and you develop this, I think it's worth to go it. And if someone say the money is a problem, we usually say, if the money is a problem, there is no problem. Start with something small if you have really no experience, if you have a difficult circumstances. And a lot of municipalities have difficulties and they have no experience, but they still to try. And you always have some ways, you know, you have a climate friendly mayors and councillors, new directors, headmaster. They are financially good and worse years, but nevertheless, always talk to people, make education activities, and just, you know, we say, just don't give up, because I think the good things spread between people from mouth to mouth. And sometimes we as people that are really connected to the energy and climate, I think this is like a lifelong activity. I'm sure many of you that are today with us are the same people.
So I'm very happy to be a mentor in your project. So I was also previous project a mentor. So it's very valuable project, and as Vlasta already said, it's not that just we learn share experience and knowledge with mentees, we also learn from mentees, and it's very valuable for us. So my name is Tanela, and I'm a Click Energy Cooperative, a small citizens established energy cooperative in the town of Križevci in Croatia. We are now almost 4 years here in our local community. During the presentation, I will sometimes say we as this, because I was working in Green Energy Cooperative when we implemented the project I will talk about, but sometimes we is stated for the city of Križevci. So, but I will just tell you some facts about the Križevci, some general information. Križevci covers a wide administrative territorial area in northwestern Croatia, with also 59 villages, and with less than 20,000 inhabitants. We are very rural area, as you can see, but we have a great geographic location and also favorable climate, and mostly in our local community we have small and medium enterprises in retail, metal industry, construction, and woodworking industry, but also a lot of family farmers and small businesses in agriculture. As for energy, our SECAP is stating that we are emitting 38,000 tons CO2 yearly, mostly from traffic, as I think every city. But especially because as a small rural area, we don't have a public transport in our town. We have just a regional public transport. So Also, the way we are living today forces us to have a few cars in a family. But we also are a very, very old town, more than 700 years. We have buildings that are like 150 years old. Most of the houses were built in 1950s, 60s, 70s. So it's the right moment for renewal. And there is actually a lot of interest now as our national fund is subsidizing energy renewal. So lots of our citizens want to renew their homes. As every city, I would say, in Croatia, but in also other European states, we are doing some energy projects in the last 10 years as energy renovation public buildings using biomass for thermal heating, charging stations for electrical vehicles, etc. But what the first Križevci from other cities is this project I will tell you about, the innovative way they used citizens to fund a public project. So Križevci Sunny Roof is a project of implementing 2 solar power plants on public buildings that are used by public institutions and financed by the citizens. The project was implemented 6 years ago, and we have 2 public buildings, 2 public institutions, as already said. Municipality as enabler, because they are owner of the buildings and institutions in it. We have ZES, Green Energy Cooperative, that developed project and was leading the project. And we have 2 solar power plants, each 30 kilowatts. And crowdfunding campaign to get the microloans. But it was also very important to involve lots of stakeholders. So we have Greenpeace, Križevci Entrepreneurial Center, Public Library, Regional Agency, Energy Agency North, Energy Cities, RESCOP, other public institutions in Križevci, citizens, but also media. So it was very important to have this support from the local, regional, national, but also European level, and that gave the security to citizens to invest in the project. So we had the website like similar to a crowdfunding platform, but it was actually a website to just ease the promotion and automate the process. I think that also it is very important to say that in this time we didn't have any regulation on crowdfunding. So today you cannot have like your own platform if it is not approved by the on the European level. So we didn't have any crowdfunding regulations on it. So we were in like no one knew what is actually possible. So we also talked with the financial agency, with the Minister of Finance, and they didn't know what to say, and they didn't want to be official. So in the end, what they said unofficially is, if it's not forbidden, you can do it. And so we have done some mix for the project. So how this is working? ZES as a cooperative project owner, so they develop the project, and they are owner of the solar power plants, and they used microloans from citizens to finance the power plants on the public buildings. They have then lease agreement with the users of the buildings. That means Public Library and Križevci Entrepreneurial Center, which are paying a rent for using the equipment. We said it's like not using the electricity because we cannot sell electricity, so it's using the equipment on the roof. And the rent is in the amount of predicted energy savings from the solar energy that will be produced on the solar power plants. And then they are paying this rent on monthly basis. So this has this stability that they can see if there's some problems with repaying with the paying of the rent. so that they can react on time, because they are repaying the loans to citizens in annually basis. So they have this period where they can see if there's some problems, they can react on time to have the money to repay to investors. So what was the role of the municipality in the project? Well, they enabled the project. They gave permission to this to install the power plants on their buildings. They also gave public support for the project, and they were actively involved in the promotion of the project. But they also took over the payment if the user is not able to pay their rent, because city owns the user and the building, and after 10 years solar power plants will go in the ownership of the city. So it was like normally for them to pay if something goes wrong, let's say. So we have Development Center Technological Park, a new building that was built for Crowdfunding Entrepreneurial Center. It is office building and meeting building. We have also now a big conference venue space there. So for the investment of 30,000 euros, we needed 10 days for 52 investors to invest in the project to collect this money. So minimal investment was 135 euros and maximum 1,350 euros, because we also talked about how we should do this, and we decided to have minimum and maximum because we wanted as much as possible investors to have in the project, not just for one to come and say, I have all the money, I will pay it. So it was actually possibility to as much as possible citizens to invest in the project. Average investment was more than 500 euros, and that was all, I would say, surprising for us, because we were very skeptical how the citizens will react to the project and everything. But we had 4.5% of interest rate. In these 10 years, they will earn 4.5% on their investment. And Crowdfunding Entrepreneurial Center is paying for 100 euros monthly for this rent, so that is their energy saving in the project. For the city library, we only needed 2 days to collect the money. We had 40 investors. The minimum and maximum amount were the same. The investment was a little bit lower because it's just different constructions, and it was 1 year after, so the prices also went down a little bit, and their investment was also a little bit higher than in the first project, but there was a 3% of the interest rate, because as in development center, they are using 90% of the energy produced from the solar power plants, and the public library is using 72%. So that was the difference, also the different interest rate. They are paying 296 euro monthly. I forgot to say that these rents are fixed, so they are not dynamic. So through 10 years, they will always pay this monthly rent. For this was like easier, because they don't need to monitor what's happening with the electricity prices and everything. For users, it was a great now with these distortions on the market, because they didn't feel it because they had this fixed rate. But if it would be dynamic, for this would be better, because they could repay it sooner, the contract and the loans to citizens. So why was this a success? Because I think the key in this project was to this community engagement, because we connected everyone from the local, regional, national, European level. Everyone was giving the support, but also in local community, all association, organizations, stakeholders, public institutions, everyone was involved in it. Everyone promoted the project. It was like it was a good vibe around the project. at the end, it was a great promotion for the municipality. Our mayor was newly elected 1 year before the project, so it was very good for him to promote, to also now after the project energy policies were his main politics, he also promoted himself, and he has now his way also in the energy transition. Križevci is recognized as the first city in Croatia that wants to be energy independent, that includes citizens in it. So it's actually good for the city, for municipality, for him also. Everyone got something from it. It also opened the door for participation in several new projects, as for the city of Križevci, but also for ZES. There are also lots of new partnerships based on the project, and it also gave us, for citizens, a will to establish our own local community, energy cooperative, and that is how the CLIC was established. So 2 years after the project, we established a Citizens Energy Cooperative, which is mostly focused on households, to help them to implement solar power plants on their households, because they need help. Before we established CLIC, no one knew how to implement a solar power plant on their household, what is the first step, who is the project designer, who is implementing the project, what to do. So we gathered all the information, we talked with the local project designers, we'll help them with the administrations to citizens, and now 3 years after, we have like more than 1 megawatt of designed solar power plants for household. More than 500 is already built. City is giving also subsidies to households for implementing the projects, and we have now like 200 households in the city in 3 years that are producing their own energy and using it. So the project, it was not just public buildings and producing there and using energy and citizens to invest. It's a whole wider picture, because now we have also households that are more interested to produce energy, and it gave us like we are now driving the energy transition in full in our city. We established also energy and climate office as a info point for citizens to get all the information. We have lots of partnerships with a lot of firms that are in the sustainable topics, not just solars. We are also helping them in a lot of new projects, but we also now working on energy renovation, not just solars. We learned something with solars, and now we are developing this service for whole energy renovation. So we are now helping citizens to apply for national funds to get 60% of investments on their energy renewal in their houses. I'm sure I forgot something to say, but that's why you will have time to ask me. I presented this project a lot of time, and sometimes you need to hear it 2 or 3 times about it to get all the information in the right place. We took part of ESCO services, part of crowdfunding, part of I would say also a power purchase agreement, because you have a fixed rate that you are paying for your electricity. But as Vlasta said, ESCO is not so favorable in our countries. There is a lot of missing technical expertise. We can see also in this project there's no actually monitoring, because you have this fixed rent, and now no one is actually monitoring, and there's lack of maintenance in the project. and that's are now some things that we need to improve in the process. We have 6 years behind us. Everyone is paying what they need to pay. So citizens are very happy because they are having their money back. They are earning some money, but maybe we are missing this component, how to use this money in a community, maybe for some energy poverty project or something. But this was a project that we just wanted to trigger the citizens to invest, to show them that they can invest in something, that this is not just for the big players. And the next step is now to create some social advantages of investing in such a projects, to use part of the earnings for social projects in a local community. After the 10 years, the city will get the power plants. They will have free energy for 20-25 years, and they can use this money for also for some purposes for the community. So maybe now you can see, like, okay, what's the social component in the project, because here just citizens are earning money, they are not giving it back to the community. But when you see that this also triggered the households to have solar power plants to produce their own energy, we have then almost €1 million investment in our local community, because now with these household solar power plants, local project designers are working on it, local companies are implementing, installing solar power plants on the household, so the money is staying in the local community and local economy. So
I have to present you a little bit of our city to understand why we did that. We are almost like our colleagues, 20,000 inhabitants. We have a lot of buildings, 90. So it's a very huge expenses for us. And most of these buildings are schools, and they have not been well maintained in the past years. So we have lots of things to do in global renovation on it. You have some technical information about square meters heated, lighting points. And we also worked on new heating network since 19 in our city, because there was no district before. And the objective was to be more independent on energy and to pay less for the winter season. To continue on that presentation, you have some information about our city budget. We have about 6 million general expenses, and a big part of that is coming from energy. So it was a very huge point for us for a very long period to try to reduce that budget, because otherwise we can't invest, we can't do anything else than pay the bill. And we also have an equipment budget about 6 million and a half per year. And as you could know, we organized the Olympic Games in 1992. So we have a lot of expenses also to maintain these buildings and these equipments. And we have a debt reduction target, which is our big problem here in Albertville. And as we are in an alpine environment, we have not extreme, but hard winter season. So the energy consumption is a very high question here for us. So that is our situation initially. We already tried long years ago to act to reduce that important energy consumption, but nothing was really drastically affirmative. And we also have a lack of financial means to heavily invest in our renovation, as I told you, on the whole building stock. And as we couldn't get more and more debt, we have a financial problem. So we discovered in the beginning of 2018, the solution of Stuttgart in intracting, and we tried to implement it in our city. The three objectives were to act quickly and by our means, because we couldn't wait, we couldn't be able to wait any more time to get energy savings. And we had a lot of big projects to renovate the schools, to invest in the lighting network. But it takes time to get the loans, it takes time to get the subsidies, and we have to pay the bill. So to pay less bill, we have to act quickly and to reduce immediately our savings, our consumption. And we discovered with Stuttgart method that we could also create a virtuous cycle for our energy bills. So it is really simple, as you can see in the slide. You have a fund managed by the financial services, which allow 0% loans to the technical department. These departments are in charge to implement, to find good ideas and to implement them for energy savings. And the energy savings really effective are reinvested the next year into this policy. So you create a virtuous circle. To explain more what we did, we thought about how to create the funds initially. And we decided to get a link between our previous savings, because we did some in 2018. And we calculate the volumes saved in that period with the energy prices in 2019. I did a mistake. And we invested about 113 euros in that policy. And it is a big amount of money for us because it is about 8% of our energy operating budget, as I told you. And we also, at the initiate of the project, decided to study and to choose the first saving measures with 3 criteria. The one was the ecological impact of the measures. We have to get efficiency on the savings, energy savings. We have to add a financial impact. The savings have to be the more immediate possible and to reduce the expenses and to keep the capacity of investment. And we also wanted to select actions that could offer a multiplier effect. It is to say, to free resources for further investments and not give all the money to just one big project. And to also implicate the more people possible into this strategy. This is one example of what we did. One of the most popular actions were the lighting network, because it was already planned but not budgeted. It is really easy, and you know perfectly that when you invest in your lighting network, you have a return on investment really quickly and with a big amount of money. So we covered all the needs of a financial project from this action, and it permits to accelerate the action plan on that type of measure. And I could also show you buildings investments, car investments, because we changed a part of our fleet to get less pollution and less consumption. We also invested in water and so on. But always in the same thinking, you have to prove that the measure coming from the technical department has an ecological impact, financial impact, and multiplier effect. My mouse is losing. So to show you how it works at the end, which are our first results, you can see that we made between 19 and 23 about 774,000 euros of investment. You have also to know that as we were in the COVID period, we put in the strategy 1,002,000 euros, but we couldn't be able to invest all this money because we were stopped with the COVID season. So we now are going to invest all the money back. And this only 7,000 euros of investments already produced 2,050,000 euros of return on investment. So it is really powerful because in this strategy, you choose the best actions you can to invest the faster you can and to get the faster you can the result of your investments. So as you can see, in 2019, we had an energy consumption of our budget about 1,300,000. And in 23, we almost have the same, even if we knew a big crisis on energy these last years. So with this strategy, and almost only with this strategy, we were able to really slow down the expenses on energy. We also worked on the purchase of energy, but the most powerful action was this one. And as you can see, in 2024, we will have about 1 million euros to invest in that strategy, so a big amount of money. We already have contracted between the finance and the technical department for almost 400,000 euros. And we know that already we can count on 200,000 euros of savings. So a big amount of money for us in our energy budget. This is the presentation of where did we generate savings. So you can see that the most is in lighting and electricity, because we choose these actions at the beginning. But we also now are investing more in fuel, in gas, in heating, and we try to develop the water question because it becomes more and more crucial for anyone. So we invested in buildings, in lightings, I can told you, in renovation of our car fleet. We also convinced people to replace cars from bikes. We invested in our basins in the villages for reducing our water consumption. We invested in a basin to stock the water, in some managing equipments to drive on our lighting consumption, while large numbers of actions. And we decided to select the more energy sources possible, to implicate the more users possible, the more services possible, to think the people that anyone has something to do in that strategy. And every source of energy is important. I have to tell you about the crucial initial ignition of the system, because if you invest a lot, you get a lot of return as investment. And you can see that we change our financial incomes during the period. At the beginning, we decided to invest only the energy savings, the previous ones. In 2020, we introduced the reimbursement of the first actions. And we introduced also a facultative amortizing of some works in our buildings. And in 2022, we decided to boost the strategy because the return on investment was really interesting. And we decided to put as an income the new electricity tax, which was introduced by the national level. But one part of this tax was for us, for the city. So we decided and convinced the political people that we had to prove that this new tax introduced for the energy transition has to be affected only to the energy transition of a city. Because it was important for the people to understand that when they pay the tax, it is affected to the good thing. And this introduction of the tax, as you can see, easily produce a very important acceleration on the incomes. So we had to think about what to do with all that money. And we can say that this tool has multi-dimension aspects. One part of it is policy and organization. So you introduce a virtual circle for sobriety and energy transition in your budget. You strengthen also the partnership between technique and finance departments. So they work to reach the same goal, to reach the energy transition and help the municipality to get the objective put into action. And what was very important and very interesting as a return on experience from this strategy for us was to discover that the services were able to show more autonomy and creativity with that tool. They had a better recognition of their expertise because they were able to present, to propose actions, to get a very huge impact on energy savings by their own creativity. And they obtain more legitimacy on their actions after that. And as it is very powerful on financial aspects and technical aspects, we are now convinced that we protected the fund longevity because it is powerful. So we don't have any more to justify what we do, what we propose. On the financial part, I also told you about the multiplier effect of the financial actions. You can, for evidence, increase your independence on your savings. We decided, as I told you, to boost the tool to get a bigger impact at the beginning, because otherwise you can finance small projects, but at the end, if there is not large impact, the politician people will tell you, well, we can do anything else with that money. It's not very powerful. So you have to be very attentive to that part of a strategy to boost it at the beginning. On the energy efficiency and the environmental protection, there is no doubt it works. And for us, it is important to get clear and concerted rules to be efficient. And we choose to get a simple internal tool and to concert all the users in continuously demarche to get this concertation. There is no external regulation. So for one part, it is a very woo effect on the organization. Or one time you can do what you want as you want with your internal regulation. So that's really nice to be able to do that. And we choose also a continuous improvement approach by getting more resources involved, more people involved. I can tell you so that for us, it was important to get a big legitimacy of the origin of the fund at the beginning, but now it's not a problem. It is so powerful that it is not questioned by the municipality. And the only obstacles we had to overcome was the need to finance over heavy investments. But we explained that if we didn't do savings, we are not able to invest in these huge projects because we can't have more debt. So we have no issue other than getting savings. There was no obstacle at the beginning because the fund was limited in amount at the beginning. So nobody was afraid with that. So we can prove with the initial actions that it works, and it's not against other projects, but it is a solution to get more savings and new possibility to invest in other things after that. And the new challenge for us now is to use the fund in larger operations, larger projects. And we are able to do so because we have, as our first mentor said, we were in capacity to do that because we have auditings, we have action plans, and with the intracting fund, we have funds, we have resources to invest. So we can choose the best actions to invest in that strategy and to use that tool into our energy transition policy.